Ariel Helwani in Mexico City gearing up for UFC 188, and we're standing alongside top UFC flyweight contender Joseph Benavidez, who's coming off a big win at UFC 187. And you are here in Mexico City for what reason exactly, Joseph?
I'm just here hanging out, getting in touch with my roots, my inner Aztec god, and just doing media stuff, hanging around. Yesterday we went to the Salvation Army here in Mexico City and just talked to some kids, played some soccer with them. It was just nice to, UFC likes to give back to any community they're in, so they brought a few of us guest fighters who were, fresh off a fight, and just coming down to hang out and interact with the fans and give back to the community. So I'm more than happy to do it. It's an awesome place to be, and the fans are awesome as usual.
Do you kind of wish you were fighting on this card in front of the Mexican people as opposed to a couple weeks ago?
It would be cool, but then I couldn't have ate 15 tacos last night, so...
15, is that accurate?
That's accurate, yeah.
What kinds?
They're little al pastor and carnitas.
It's al pastor?
It's like a marinated pork with like pineapple. Real nice.
So you really stick to the pig?
Yeah. Dig on swine for sure. And that's just what they do out here. Like that's like their main. Like their main. Yeah.
No carne or pollo.
There's some carne. I had that too with some enchiladas, steak and enchiladas.
Wow.
So yeah. It would be nice, of course, to fight anywhere. Like I enjoy fighting anywhere. I feel every single, region of fans brings something different. In Mexico City, obviously, being only the second show here, it'd be awesome. The fans are great, but more than happy fighting on the UFC 187 in Vegas. It was an amazing card, and that always just adds to it, like the magnitude of the title fights and everything. So now I get to hang out here and visit and just enjoy the great show. So.
Such a fascinating time in the flyweight division because it really feels like there's no number one contender out there. I mean, I think a lot of people might say that you're the number two guy, but we've talked about this before. Yeah. And you had Dotson who, didn't really wow the crowd. Even some people thought he didn't beat Makovsky. Then the following week you have Formiga doesn't really grab that brass ring. Yeah. Could it be that Henry Cejudo, with the limited fights that he has, could it be that he's next in line for a title shot with a win? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, I think, honestly, in the division, it's kind of like scarce for competitors. Like, any reason to justify an Olympic champion, with that notification all the way around him into a title shot is good. So, he goes out there and puts on an impressive performance, and his last performance was impressive as well against a former title contender. So I feel people have gotten title shots for less, and right now in the division, I mean, it might not be bad having an Olympic champion, going in for the title. So, if it's justified, I wouldn't be against it. And I think, he's right there with a good performance, logically. Like we were talking about, I mean, I'm always ready to go for the title, right, skill-wise, but, I know, logically, business-wise, it doesn't make sense. So, I don't have a problem with who goes for it first, looking from the outside in, Cejudo would be great. I think anyone would always want to see Dotson regardless of his performance. Like I said, I feel people have gotten title shots for lesser performances, sure, or whatever anyways. So,
coming off losses these days, right?
Losses, yeah, exactly. So, whatever makes sense, I'm sure they'll make the right decision. But, in the meantime, I'm just going to be ready for when that opportunity does come, because I know it'll eventually come once, it starts going. And a loss would even expedite that process, so we'll see what happens.
Are you hoping for maybe a Cejudo win, he fights for the belt, and then you fight Dotson? Is that the fight that – I feel like that's the biggest fight you can have right now.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's not nothing I thought about as far as, like, hoping for it. But, I mean, it makes sense. That would be cool. Yeah, anyone I can fight that's going to, get me closer to the title is great. So, and I just want to get in there. Like, that's kind of my thing right now is I understand the division's small, and that's why I'm probably fighting twice a year. But at the end of the day, I'm still fighting twice a year. So, I just want to get in there and do it. I feel I'm in my prime and still improving and always put on exciting fights. So, fighting twice a year, just, I'm always training, so I'll just be ready to fight whoever. So if it's Dotson for a number one contender or whoever it may be, I'm ready.
Have you considered going back up to 135? Fresh coat of paint, new challenges? No?
I've thought about it, like, probably later, kind of like Faber did. Like, right, he's kind of like, all right, I don't have much to do at 35. My teammate's the champion. I'm going to do a super fight like I always kind of wanted to. For me, I feel I don't want to lose any focus on the flyweight division or to look like, my 100% focus isn't on, on the flyweight division and winning the belt there. In the future, I can see myself going up to 135. But as of right now, it would just literally be for fun. And, I'm not doing fights for fun. Yes, I have fun doing them, but I want to do them to move myself forward in the title picture. My champion, the champion is my teammate at the weight class. I think I have like 3 more teammates at that. So, eventually it's something I'm down to do because I think there's some cool fights out there. But right now it's all about the flyweight division.
Speaking of that champion, that teammate, TJ Dillashaw, you announced recently that you left MMA Inc. He left MMA Inc. Has that created any kind of rift within the team? Because I feel like the alpha male guys for a long time were known as like that was Team MMA Inc. as well.
Yeah, not really on like the team aspect because it's just different. Like even though everyone is with MMA Inc., it's just totally different. Like if I left the team, it would obviously be a little different. But I left like the management team, so everyone understands. It's like more with the management than it would be for the team. Like it's not connected, I guess, in that way. So yeah, I haven't really talked to anybody really about it, but they're just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Probably a good idea. TJ was right after me. Danny had left like a few years ago actually. So I just feel they're like separate entities. Like it didn't affect anything with the team, more just the management. So we'll see how it happens in the future because our team is, managed by most of them. So we'll all be like together and stuff. But, they've always been cool guys and it was like a clean thing. It wasn't like, hey, I hate you guys and they're going to try to take me for everything that, you know what I mean? So it was pretty easy, and I think just the better decision for me, moving forward.
If the Reebok deal didn't come into play, do you still think you would have made that decision at this point in your career?
Well, that definitely helped out, moving forward because it eliminated, half their job, basically, or really, more than half their job, I think, because the fights are easy to kind of take care of themselves. UFC kind of tells you, gives you a contract, and you can kind of, move it up.
Isn't that the big thing, the contract? Like now you're going to have to negotiate for yourself.
Funny enough, I did negotiate my last contract myself. So yeah,
what happened there?
We couldn't get to a certain number, and I was going to sign it. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to San Jose and just talk to Sean myself. And sure enough, I got it to what I wanted to for my new deal. So it's not something I really want to do again. So I'm not against management in general. I will be looking for management moving forward. So back to your question, if the Reebok deal would have came into play, would I have still left? I've been thinking about it for 2 years, honestly. I've been thinking about it for a while, just as far as because their main job is sponsors, and I wasn't getting the sponsors I like. No monthly payments, which is huge, in our industry when you're not fighting for 6 months to have supplemental income coming in. And I'd just been thinking about it for a while. And the Reebok deal definitely justified it. And now the aftermath of hearing fighters and how much they made with sponsors, and I'm listening to fighters that I think I should be getting paid more than in sponsors. They're making more than me. I'm just like, I was doing the wrong thing. I was not making enough. They weren't working as hard as they possibly could have for me. And then in my last fight, I think I got more sponsors on my own than I ever did than I did in like my last 4 fights with managers. So. It was justified, yeah.
A very interesting time in the sport, I think, and an interesting time in your division. As always, we appreciate the time, and good luck getting that next fight, whoever it is against.
Yeah, I'll look forward to it. I'll be ready.